So we're going to be on our last set of tips and tricks for e-learning right now. So first, what we're going to start off with is just talking about Google Classroom and how we can do Google Meets. So now that our students have the ability to also email us and then video conference with us, we also want to make sure that we're kind of being safe and cautious with the students as well. And there has been kind of an issue with students being able to just jump into a classroom, which obviously we don't want, or into a Google Meet and just kind of hanging out there by themselves. So something that you can do is you can go to your Google settings, your Google Classroom settings. So you would just go to your Google Classroom page, and in the top right corner, there would be a button that says settings. And then in your specific classroom, you can just kind of scroll down and then see these general settings. So what you would need to first do is, if you do not want the link visible for your students, you'll have to click this so that it is off. If it's on, what will happen is that on your Google Classroom homepage, where there is that big banner at the top, there is going to be a link up there for Google Classroom, or for the Google Meet. And if you have it visible to students, then kids can just click on that basically at any time and just jump into the classroom, which obviously you probably don't want. So I usually leave it off, and then I'll just share the link with the students so that they can then enter the classroom. And I found that that works the best for me. Then some other things that you can do is you can assign work to students through comments. So let's say I was working on this organizer with one of my students. What I can do is I can highlight this and add a comment. And I know I could add a note comment, but let's say I really needed this student to complete this work. What I can do is I can press the plus button, and then I can select a name and have that student then sent an email saying complete this work. So let's pretend Mrs. Stark is one of my students. I will say complete this section. And then I can click this button that says assign. And then what's going to happen is that they are going to be notified and then supposed to be made responsible for marking this as done. So they'll get an email telling them that this is something that is assigned to them. And hopefully they will then click the link through that email, come to this assignment, and then they would be able to hopefully complete this section and then mark this as resolved once they are done. But at least there is a way for us to kind of communicate with the students, and as they get kind of more used to using those student emails, they'll probably hopefully be more likely to check them and see if we ever ask them to complete certain work and things like that. Also, another thing that I've been doing is with my daily remote learning assignments is I will put all of the assignments, parts, sections, videos, anything for the work for that day into one Google slide. So what I'll do is I will just keep adding slides. I'll change the page setup, so that's 8x11, because I just think that looks a little bit better, like a piece of paper, I guess. And then what I will do is I will have a slide for each subject. I will have a slide with a conference schedule on it. And then I'll also have the very first slide with some sort of like welcome message, and then the agenda for the day. So students can see that they first need to complete the attendance sheets. Then they see that they have to do this, watch the video and do this for 30 to 40 minutes. And they see they have to do this. Then they know they have to go to the Google Meet. So it just gives kids the structure, I guess, that they need. Now on these assignment slides, what I'll do is I made a copy of the base version of these slides before I started putting in the actual work for them, along with the other teachers that I worked with. And then what we would just do is we would make a new copy for each day and then put in the new assignments for that day. So for example, we had 6 copies up to this point of this assignment. And then for each day, we would just put in the video links for that day. But things like this, like what will writing time look like, and the writing tips would always be on there. So the kids would kind of get that consistency. So we would have a structured timeline as well for when kids should be doing certain assignments, because we found they were more likely to do the assignments if they had a set time to do them. So for example, 8:30 to 9:30, kids knew that that was their writing time, and then teachers also kind of knew that this is when they would generally get those kinds of questions. Then from reading, that would be like our 9:30 to 10:30 block. Again, this top part would always be here, and this bottom part would always be here. And then in the middle, this is where we would change our stuff. So we would have different video links for the day or a different read aloud question. But either way, all the work would just be in one spot. So instead of on Google Classroom having tons of different video links and Google Docs and Google Slides, all of it could just be in one space. And it also makes grading and checking the work much easier. Then we would have this conference schedule. So at 10:30 every day, we would meet with our class for a full class Google Meets. And then after that, we would do little mini conferences. And these little mini conferences would last about 10 minutes. And I would have this schedule up, and the kids would have to check every day if they had a conference, and then they would see which time they had their conference at. And usually during this time, we would either catch up, work on writing, work on reading, work on math, or answer any questions. And then finally for math, again, this whole top section would just kind of be like the day-to-day that kids would see, but the bottom part is what would change. So we could post our videos here, and then any kind of work we would expect them to do. And then another great option that you can use is Google Canvas. And what's really great about Google Canvas is it's basically just a digital whiteboard. So you would just have to click on New Drawing, and then you would have this big old space just to do your work. So you have different pen tools over here, and you can change the width and size and things like that of your marker along with the colors. And then you could, with your mouse or with your keypad, kind of draw out any work that you want to do on this virtual board. I use this a lot for doing any like math work, because I found that it was easier for the kids to kind of work out their math problems on something like this if they didn't have any paper to work on. Or if I was doing one of those little mini one-on-one conferences, I might set up a quick problem like this and ask the kids to do the work. I could send them this drawing, or I could do the work for them and have them tell me what I should do to solve this problem. So that is how you would create a Google Canvas. And then you could also save these as images, and then you can send those to your students as like notes if they need them to review any work that you guys talked about. You can also add images. So if you want to have an image and have the students work over that image, you can also do that. So you can have some creative options. And then finally, and I will apologize already if my sound kind of goes out in this section, but for Google Meet, there are also a couple of really cool kind of tips and tricks that you can use as well. Oh, okay. So we are going to start up a Google Meets. And in this Google Meet, I'm going to show you a couple of your different options. So if you start up a Google Meet, you will automatically see these kind of copy links pop up. So what you'll do is you'll click on the copy joining info, and then you can send that to anybody that needs it. Also, if you were to set up a meeting with Google Meets, like have it scheduled, you can also attach different assignments or different like documents and things like that to this as well, and then your participants can see them. And this is especially easy to do if you set it up through like a Google Calendar to set that up. And then some other cool options, you can turn on captions. So for like ELL learners or SPED, you can have captions pop up as you speak, and it does a pretty good job of transcribing everything that you're saying. Another option you have is if you click on the three dots right here and you're asked to record a meeting, you would just press this record meeting button right here. And then after that, if you want to change your layouts, you can do that like so. If you want to change your audio settings, you can do that on the settings tab and go there. If you would like to view the chat, you can go here and view the entire chat and then also chat along with. And then probably my favorite feature is that if you're doing this in a classroom setting or with other people, you can also have them present their screens. This can get a little frustrating if you have students that keep sharing their screens on purpose, just to kind of like mess with your lesson. But for the most part, the kids are really good about just presenting their screens whenever they need help. And then it's especially helpful whenever you're doing any sort of tech help, because you can just kind of automatically see what's going on their screen and guide them to where they need to go. So that is it for all of my little e-learning tips and tricks that I've learned so far. And I hope this was super helpful for you guys.